Hi everybody, my name is Leela Sinha and this is video number 2 for the Everyday Sari series. No, it's video number 3. It's Sari day number 2. We had an introduction. Um, so my name is Leela Sinha. I'm half Indian, half white, and I am exploring what it means to wear saris and what it means to wear saris as an everyday thing. I've been wearing saris for about I don't know, a few years on the regular. Before that, I kind of knew how they went, but I didn't really know what I was doing. And it showed when I wore them because I was really awkward in them. So, one of my goals with this series is to help people understand what it means to wear sari every day and kind of make the decisions in an everyday context and not just, oh, it's a formal occasion. I spent the last couple hours messing with my lighting. Still not super happy with it. Hopefully, my video technique will improve over the course of this series as well. So, today I'm going to wear another sari. It's another one from Bengal Looms. Because I'm super excited about that box I got. So this one is khadi cloth. It is hand spun and if you look at the selvage, you can usually tell if it's hand woven or not. This one is definitely hand woven. You can see there's a little tiny bit of unevenness along the selvage. Those of you who are weavers will understand what that means. What it means is that there was a human judging the tension of each one of these little threads and not a machine. So today's sari is khadi cloth cotton. It's from the same batch as my absolute favorite khadi cloth sari, which I will introduce you to at some point. If you follow my Instagram, you will have seen it. And so this is 6 yards of fabric. I didn't do this in the first video, and I probably should have just shown you, like, this is 6 yards of fabric. It's a lot of fabric, right? It's like this much and this much again. I'll get to how to fold them at some point. I'll show you how you fold these things because it's a lot of fabric. And once you can fold a sari, folding sheets is so much easier. Not fitted sheets, just flat ones. So this is a sari, and you'll notice I'm wearing dark boxers today because that's what was clean, right? The practicalities of wearing clothes. So I would love to wear this without boxers or without a petticoat, but I can't really. I mean, you can see that if I do that, my bright blue boxers are going to show right through. That's not a good idea. I wear boxers because I like boxers. If you wear other kinds of underwear, then your underwear challenges may be different. But the color issue is one to really keep in mind because saris are almost by definition, there are some that are heavier, but a great many saris are this kind of see-through. You can see that under this kind of camera lighting, I do have two bright lights shining on me, but sunlight's bright too. You can see my entire silhouette through this sari. So it's important to keep that in mind when you're making your choices. So like before, I'm going to wear a petticoat. Petticoat, like I said, is just a gored skirt. It's a drawstring gored skirt made of cotton. I think they make some slippery ones now. There are advantages and disadvantages to that. And as I said before, if you're wearing a petticoat, then the drawstring of the petticoat is basically your structural base. I will show you at some point how to wear a sari without a petticoat. The border and fall videos that I mentioned before are definitely a great source for how to wear them without a petticoat. They're trying to bring the sari back, which it makes me so happy. It's a project out of India, not out of the United States or France. I mentioned France because the first person that I became aware of who was trying to preserve sari drapes was Chantal Boulanger, who was a French anthropologist in the 90s. And I say was because she died in a kind of freak accident in Africa when she was doing some more research on draped clothing there. But for a while, she had an organization called the Draped Clothing Institute. She did an exhibit that was probably related to her doctoral research, I think. I'm not sure. Anyway, she has a book. It's out of print now, but you can get it if you look on the internet. And I can't remember the title of it, but it's about sari draping. And it documents an enormous amount about sari drapes. It separates them into families and talks about how they're related or how they look related, but they aren't because convergent evolution is a thing in sari drapes, as well as everything else. And and as this series goes on, you'll see me drape saris in different ways. You'll also notice that I flip between the westernized and Hindi pronunciation. So sari is my best approximation of the Hindi. I don't speak Hindi, so I'm learning it, but I'm slow. So the Indian language, the Hindi, has, and most of the Indian languages have more sounds than we're used to in English. So the R in sari is very specific. And if you start to talk to people who are native speakers of Indian languages, you'll probably hear variations on that. And that leads to variations on the transliteration. So occasionally you'll see the S-A-D-E-E or S-A-D-I, sari, because it's this weird like R-D sound. It's like the very beginning of a rolled R. That's that character. And anyway, I am way off track. So in order to get dressed in this, in the usual way, I'm going to just do what I did last time. You can see this has this really lovely variegation in what we call in knitting color pooling, but it creates this really beautiful effect. So again, I'm going to lift up the traditional way to wear this would be with a choli blouse. The undergarment that I'm wearing today is actually based on a choli blouse. It's a sleeveless choli blouse basically that I had the tailor make for me because, and all choli blouses are custom made. If you try ready to wear choli blouses and they don't feel comfortable or they don't fit you right, that's because they really have to be custom made. They're supposed to be skin tight. I wasn't going to talk about cholis today, but I'll talk briefly. So they're supposed to be skin tight. They're often made with decorative fabric from the sari. Many saris come with what's called a blouse piece, a running blouse piece. That means a piece of fabric. And that blouse piece can be used to add ornamentation. You can see here the tailor has used it to add ornamentation to my sleeves and to the back of the choli blouse, because of course if you wear it in the usual way, the front is covered. You can certainly ask a tailor to do something different if you want. And I have mine stitched in this very old school way. If you look at the seams, I'll go into this in more detail later, but these cups are actually meant for support. The tailor will not tell you that. The tailor will tell you you need a special bra to go under it. These were designed to be bras. So anyway, let's get back to the subject at hand, which is putting on a sari. One of the interesting things about this is that how high or low you drape your sari is a class marker. My grandmother in India, who's lived in India all her life, will tell you, if you show up at her house wearing a sari draped short, she'll tell you it doesn't look nice. Her first language is Hindi, her second language is Marathi, her third language is Bengali. So the fact that she speaks any English at all is amazing. And she grew up, she was born during the British Raj era and grew up under the British Raj. And so her English is there, but it's a little bit limited. And so it doesn't look nice means a lot of things. And in this case, what it means, although she would never say this explicitly, is that it makes me look poor to drape a sari short. That's okay. I'm actually all right with messing with that. A lot of people are messing with that now, but it's important to know, if that's what you're doing, what you're doing, right? It's important to know what the impact is in country, and in a major city, in modern India, draping your sari short doesn't look nice. In other parts of India, that's the regional drape, so that's worth knowing too. Regional draping conventions are very localized. It's not a big, even though there is a standard now, the standard is definitely, a result of urban culture. It's not, and if you go and ask the grandmas, there's still like one generation of grandmas who remember whatever their local situation was, which is why Chantal Boulanger ran around documenting. And I'm really glad she did, but I'm also really delighted that the documentation has really shifted over mostly to in-country you know, people who are in India or people who have direct connections to India. So here we are. I've wrapped the sari around my back again, and now I'm pleating. And the hand shape, I'll show you when I'm done pleating, because right now I would end up dropping my pleats. I'm not that good. My aunt is that good. You can see, though, that I'm just folding this back and forth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And, you know, usually you get about 6. If you're really skinny or really short, you get more. If you're really tall or more fat, you get fewer. You know, whatever. You get the number you get. I once saw somebody wearing a sari at a formal event who was quite tall, and she had like 1 pleat. I'm sure that the sari was a gift and she did what she had to do, you know. So here we are, we're tucking those pleats in, we're, you know, pulling that drawstring out from the waist, but you do want to make sure that drawstring is tight enough to hold your clothes up, because that's what it's going to do for the rest of the day. And I will note that even though a lot of people are skeptical about whether it'll hold it up, it will. You do have to be careful about not stepping on your pleats. There is a walking technique. You have to kick your foot out from the knee. Sometime when I haven't already put the sari on, I'll demo that, or I'll try. My studio space here for filming is very small. But, you know, you can see that I'm pleating the pallu. The pleats will not stay in all day. These pleats will not stay in all day on me. A lot of people pin their pallus on their shoulders to make it stay, and you get beautiful knife pleats that stay put. But if you accidentally tug your pallu and you've done that, you tear it. And I just, you know, I asked a bunch of seasoned sari wearers about pinning, and they were like, not if you can help it. So, you know, I committed to myself that I was going to learn how to do it the complicated and more original way. And you don't have to, you know, if you're going to a formal event and you want to pin. So you'll notice that I just pulled some excess around and tucked it in my hip. That's a thing, that's sort of a last step that you can do or not do. And somebody will tell you it looks nice and somebody will tell you it doesn't. But you can see that the pleating does allow me a certain amount of, you know, grace in the way that it crosses my chest. By the end of the day, it might just be balled up and thrown over my chest. But right now, this is the way it looks. I've draped it a little bit short. If I want to put it around like I did in the last video, I'll just pull gently from this side. The pleats undo from this side, and you can just get a little bit more length, get that extra little tiny bit that allows you to wrap it around. And again, how much you need to wrap it depends on your size and your shape. But the beauty of this garment is that it's 6 yards, so most people will be able to wear it. Now I'm noticing as I'm talking to you that there's a thread. Uh-oh, I lost it. There's a thread here. This is going to be doom. So I've got to break that off right now, because if you have threads sticking out, you're going to be in trouble. And the thread is from sewing on the fall, which is this protective piece of fabric that you get at the bottom edge of your sari to protect the sari from your kicking it all day. Because when you walk, you kick the sari. So, you know, and again, I've draped my sari kind of loosely, but I have tucked it all the way around. Some people will not tuck that first round. I think that it helps keep it out of my ankles. But again, I'm short. So this is today's sari. You can see it like this. I wanted a white t-shirt for it, but I don't happen to have one clean, so yellow will do. And probably I could also match it with a pink, although if I match it with this color of pink, that pink is going to show through the pallu. So that's worth knowing. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will definitely be back, and happy sari wearing.